Hey, thanks for joining me. Hope you're doing well. Vril is a natural, abundant energy that pervades all planes of existence. The Chinese refer to it as Qi, the Hindu as Prana, and the Japanese as Reiki. Albert Pike said of this force, "There is in nature one most potent force, by means whereof a single man, who could possess himself of it, and should know how to direct it, could revolutionize and change the face of the world." Helena Blavatsky of the Theosophical Society described this vril energy as an aether stream that could be transformed into a physical force. In the book The Coming Race, Edward Bulwer Lytton explained his encounter with a race of subterranean beings who learned how to master the vril. They used vril to heal, to build their societies, and to keep peace among them. It helped them achieve old healthy age, bliss, and contentment. It was harnessed energy that could be used for great purposes or for malice. It can destroy like the flash of lightning, he writes, yet differently applied, it can replenish or invigorate life, heal and preserve. So important a bond between these several communities was the knowledge of vril and the practice of its agencies. This vril had also improved all forms of life within the society. Since the vril light had superseded all other light-giving bodies, the colors of flower and foliage had become more brilliant, and vegetation had acquired larger growth. So everything in this underground civilization was enhanced with the power of the vril. The Vril Society was shortly formed after the book was published. The vril were focused not on political and monetary agendas, but on the other side, the hidden forces that power this reality. They were like the hippies of their own time. The vril maidens did not cut their hair because it helped harness vril. Many other traditions and cultures have stated that long hair can help raise creative life force, which increases vitality, intuition, and tranquility. Hair is like a spiritual antenna. So this vril energy has also been known as orgone, odic forces, and the astral light. The ancient Roman re caebile, meaning rolling astral light, is the same force that reigns everywhere. It is the mighty soul of the world, the vibrating substance which forms all creation. These names are talking about the divine feminine energy pouring out from the earth, the mother goddess. The aurora borealis is the physical light manifestation of this vril energy, the astral light. It shoots out of the center hole. It's not always visible, but it's always there, pouring out and filling our plane with this vital energy. In many photos of the aurora, it's clear that there's a singular origin of the light, one focal point where it's pouring out from. On a globe model, it might make sense that what we're looking at is just the light going around the curvature. But as we know, curvature is a myth. Once we see it for what it is, this is a light that's coming out from a source in the distance. This source is the true magnetic north, where there's a vortex, where all compasses point to, in which when we pass through, we achieve everlasting life. But we're told there's 3 different North Poles. The geographic North Pole is in the Arctic, marked at the bottom of the sea by a Russian flag. The geomagnetic pole, we're told, is constantly moving due to magnetic changes. In 2001, it was near Ellesmere Island in northern Canada, and now it's somewhere in the Canadian Arctic Territory. Then there's the actual North Pole, the pole that our compasses point towards. This magnetic north is said to be about 250 miles away from the geographic North Pole. I know, it's all very confusing. Technically, the North Pole is the South Pole, but let's not go there in this video, it's mostly unimportant. This is yet another drawn-out, overly complex scientific explanation we're given to confuse us and keep us in intellectual circles that seem reasonable but evade the truth. The truth is all compasses point to the magnetic mountain, Mount Meru, at the center of our plane. The 4 rivers that diverge from Mount Meru's location change their motion often, and this is what causes the tides on Earth. When you look on Google Earth and other maps, you find the actual magnetic North Pole is located somewhere in the Arctic Ocean. This is partly true, but they never show land here. There is land here, and there is a sacred mountain. In 1569, Gerhard Mercator made a map of the North Pole showing this magnetic mountain. Ancient Buddhist, Vedic, and Jain cosmologies state that at the North Pole there is a mountain, sometimes in the context of a city called Shambhala. The Puranic and Sumerian traditions speak of a Mount Sumeru. The Turkmen tribes of southern Turkestan spoke of a copper pillar that marked the navel of the earth. The Mongols wrote of Mount Sumer with the Zambu tree on its summit. I could go on, but you get what I'm saying. This mountain is throughout mythology. So these three different North Poles I mentioned earlier only exist on the premise that we live on a ball Earth that acts as a ball magnet, that has two opposing poles on either side because of a core made of molten metal. The Earth has only been drilled into for 12 kilometers and nothing can penetrate this distance. So where's the evidence of a core made of molten metal? The evidence has already been established. We live on a flat plane. So we could look at a ball magnet and say the poles on those are just like the poles of our Earth, but that would require making sense of curvature and a non-existent molten metal core. Ring magnets, though, have their north polarity in the center and their south polarity in the outer rim, the exact magnetism of the flat Earth model. What we call Antarctica is this south polarity, being the giant ice wall that extends the circumference of the flat Earth. All compasses point to the center, the north polarity of our plane. This is a photo of the aurora borealis taken near the South Pole. This one is taken near the North Pole. Side by side, we can extract one thing. We are looking at two sides of the same light that's coming from the same source. The North Pole's light is the inverse of the South Pole's. The Lakota Indians used the aurora borealis for its healing properties. Those who had health problems would stand facing the aurora, hold their hands towards the light, and inhale deeply. The Lapps people would decorate their shamanic drums in order to harness this energy. These people knew about the benefits of this concentrated vril. Again, the aurora borealis is the visible part of this vril energy, but most of it isn't visually detectable. However, it pervades everything. The black sun emits this vril, this astral light. It indeed shoots out of the center, but it also emanates throughout our plane. It powers nature. It powers us. It's the sacred life force. And the Vril Society claimed this energy came from the black sun. Their symbols show the black sun, oftentimes with a lightning bolt coming out from it. This isn't specific to the Vril, however. The swastika is often intertwined in the black sun symbol. The swastika is found throughout history, and what this actually represents is the vortex we go through when we enter the center of our plane. See how it looks like a spinning vortex? The Zurscheben has been found in Nordic graves, going back 3,000 years. The swastika and black sun is everywhere. The reason the black sun symbol is seen pervading in all directions should be obvious by now. The energy from it is all around us. Our intent directs it. The energy fuels our subconscious, and this is why it's able to be used for good or bad. It's solely based on intent. For instance, when we direct positive energy and love towards plants, they grow faster and with more strength. And this is because our prana, our vril, our intent is aligned with nurturing principles. The Babylonians called Bab-Ilu the gate of God. Many say Bab-Ilu is where we get the word Babel from, hence the story of the Tower of Babel. And the Tower of Babel, as I explored in previous videos, is synonymous with Mount Meru and the vortex beyond it. Bab-Ilu, again, is the gate of God, the gateway into another world. In this piece of text I found, it says, "The sun enters Bab-Ilu, or the gate of God, at the winter solstice, and starts his journey northward. During the solstice, the sun spins in and out of the center hole, into this gate of God, and then begins its journey north from its lowest point in the sky. This is why the winter solstice contains the longest nighttime of the year." On the top of the page, we see the cross of the Ilu. There's 8 lines emanating from it. This is similar to the ancient 8-rayed symbol of the Nibiru. This symbol represents a gateway, just like the cross represents the gate of God. The Mayan Great Celestial Conjunction shows an 8-pointed star as well. We have the Dharma wheel, which represents nirvana. It's easy to overthink these symbols, but they're all telling us. The gateway to God, to heaven, to nirvana, is at the center of our plane. This is the Babylonian black sun symbol, showing 8 lines. We have the Mesopotamian sun symbol, we have the ancient Shamash, and many more. And we even see 8 lines emanating from the inside of CERN. In the book Ether, God and Devil and Cosmic Superimposition, Wilhelm Reich describes the connection between orgone, another name for vril, and the aurora borealis. He also says, Orgone energy can be demonstrated everywhere. Accordingly, it penetrates everything. Check out the cover of the book. My opinion is that the illustration shows a black sun pointing energy upward. In The Astrolight by Louise A. Off, the astrolight is said to be the immortal spirit, the originator of cosmic life. In the present age, our science informs us. We perceive in the main only the lowest vibrations and inferior qualities of the astral light, because we are in the lower arc of our present cycle, and the energy of the life wave is at its ebb. Blavatsky says of Plato's method of expression that he divides the intellectual progress of the universe during every cycle into fertile and barren periods. When those circulations take place in harmony with the divine spirit, our earth and everything pertaining to it enjoys a fertile period. The occult powers of plants, animals, and minerals magically sympathize with its superior natures, and the divine soul of man is in perfect intelligence with these inferior ones. Ignoring our latent inherent forces, we drift in negative submission to the lower laws of nature, suffer deprivation, want of thought, emotion, and volition, while the precious fluid, in mute anticipation, haunts our dreamless sleep and awaits the dawning of a higher consciousness. This is an eerily beautiful passage, and it's telling us man is currently in tune with the destructive aspects of the astral light, of the vril, and nature has all along been in tune with the empowering aspects, much of which we don't detect because we vibrate at different frequencies. This is one way of answering the age-old dilemma: why doesn't man seem to blend in with his environment? We are currently on the way out of this barren cycle, and I can feel it. The age of Aquarius. These energies are on the rise, and this may be why the powers that be more than ever are trying to infiltrate our minds and hearts with as much toxicity as they can. I won't get into the accounts of concentrated vril being used by the reptilians, but know that vril is being used against us at the current moment. We can fight this misuse of vril, however, with our intent. Intent redirects this vril. By letting go and being the observer, by living from our heart, connecting with the energies around us and our own, we can start rediscovering the vril. Compared to the uses in The Coming Race, even the greatest of ascended masters have only touched the tip of the iceberg that is the power of the vril. Thank you for watching. Hope you're all doing great. I love you all.